Hey guys, IREN announced a huge partnership with Microsoft, sent the stock absolutely soaring up 16% on the news. Today, I want to explain why I think the stock can reach $100 based on the new report and some of the information they provided in there, and I'll prove it with the DCF at the end. All right, so let's hop right into it. Finally, IREN. From Bitcoin miner to an AI giant. I mean, they finally solidified their position here in the data center space. Reading some of this deal here from Microsoft, I mean, the $9.7 billion cloud contract with Microsoft, and it's thesis defining, right? It's this moment for shareholders and management where over the couple of years, a lot of people have been arguing if IREN is just another Bitcoin miner or in more recent months that they can't compete with the likes of NBiz or CoreWeave because they lack the software orchestration. Okay. They have world-class engineers and a one-of-a-kind CTO in Dennis Skrinoff. Now, keep in mind that this multi-billion dollar deal they signed with Microsoft, which, appears to have a very strong return on invested capital, barely encompasses 300 megawatts of their 3 gigawatts power portfolio potential. There will be many more deals in the future. This is just the beginning in my eyes. So, in my opinion, this is probably the most important slide because it really shows you the potential for how much IREN can build out. I mean, 3 gigawatts or 3,000 megawatts is what they're totaling in here. And you can dig further in. We'll get more into it in the DCF slide. I'll show you the projected timeline on these. But it's just impressive. Right now, they have 350 megawatt capacity, and they're adding 110 with the British Columbia capacity, 450 in Childress, and 2,000, so 2 gigawatts through Sweetwater capacity. I mean, this gives them 3 gigawatts in capacity, which is enormous. So I wanted to walk through something else that's really important is this potential shareholder dilution because it can directly affect how many shares are outstanding there are and lower our target price. So in the DCF, I want to account for this, right? Because IREN came out saying that they have $5.8 billion in CapEx that they're going to do, and they're prepaying just about $2 billion. So that gives them with an unfunded portion of just about $4 billion here. So I'm just going to assume 50% is going to be funded debt and 50% is going to be funded equity to kind of try to keep, a healthy balance sheet. This could all go debt. This could all go equity. I don't know. But assuming a 50-50 split here, which would be the healthy approach to take, that gives about $1.9 billion in equity they're going to have to issue shares for, right? So all in, what I'm trying to show here is that there can potentially be at 50% debt weighting and 50% equity weighting, there could be 12.5% dilution. That means there could be an extra 12.5% of the total outstanding shares added to its current value. So I want to take account for that in the next slide. So here it is, real quick DCF, just focusing on revenue and free cash flow because that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? Capital expenditures are mixed into this free cash flow assumption. So looking at the megawatts here, I have them built out. I was going through where management thinks they can have each portion of this 3 gigawatt or 3,000 megawatt, built out by, and I'm getting basically by 2030, maybe 2031, they'll eventually get to that. So that's what you see in the top line. And then I have the cost, which is I'm sticking with Wall Street assumptions here on what they can get per megawatt in $1.25 and up to $1.45 range, which gives us our revenue numbers, right? $1 billion all the way to $4.3 billion in the terminal here. So looking at free cash flow margin, they're not going to do pretty in 2025. And 2026 is going to be pretty lackluster. 2027 is going to be pretty lackluster. I mean, borderline 2025 with the build out and these capex they have in front of them, they're going to run negative cumulatively probably till 2028, conservatively. Then after that is when they start kind of, getting at scale and starting to make money. At least in my eyes, right? I have the terminal period here at just about at 30 billion in size before it's discounted. So now we apply the discount factor at the mid-year convention, 1 divided by 1 plus the discount rate raised to the time minus a half a time to account for that mid-year discount. We're assuming a 10% discount rate. And that gives us these values below, ranging from 95% to 65%, right? The further you go out in time, the less the dollar is worth. So the sum of the projected free cash flows here I'm getting is about 5 billion for the current year and 19 billion for the terminal. Adding those together for 24 billion. Now the company has a lot of debt to the tune of 56 billion. Okay. So, and they have 2 billion in cash. So, add the debt, subtract out the cash, and you're at 78 billion. Now there's 713 million shares, but with that, 12.5% dilution, I'm just going to round it down to 10 and say they're going to have to add 10% more shares to kind of fund this going forward, right? You already see their debt getting out of control. That's why I think they're going to be leaning more towards this equity mix. And so that gives us for new shares of 785 million, just about, which gives us a price target of 99.73 rounded to $100. It's trading at $66.12, which gives us a 51% upside. So that was all I had. A quick one here from me. Basically, I think IREN has a unique opportunity here, and if they're able to execute and eventually get to that 3 gigawatt size, they should be able to turn a nice profit. And, speaking of my DCF in the last slide, I think it's conservative because I think those prices per megawatt are going to skyrocket. Simple supply and demand, right? Not enough people supplying these data centers, and the demand right now with artificial intelligence and eventually robotics is going to go through the roof. So I think it's a buy right now. I like the stock. Amazing announcement with Microsoft, and I think a lot more are to come, just given the 3 gigawatt, pipeline here. All right. Take care. Hope you guys got something out of this.